Hello and welcome to the Granite State Yarns podcast. My name is Lauren and I'm coming to you from the great state of New Hampshire. I live here with my husband and our 7 children as well as our 2 cats. And this is my podcast where I talk about all of my knitting and crafting and other yarn and sewing adventures. So if you are a new viewer, welcome. Hope you enjoy what I have here to offer. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. So glad to have you again. You can find me at my website, www.granitestateyarns.com. And over there I sell hand-dyed sock yarn for the most part, as well as right now I have one knitting sock pattern available on my site, and we'll have another one within the next week or so. Right now I have a pattern in testing. We can talk about that a little bit more later. And let's see. Yeah, and you can also find me on Instagram. My handle is at Granite State Yarns. So I'm here with, I have got a couple of finished objects, a few works in progress, a few little doodads for new acquisitions, and a whole bunch of yarn to talk about that is currently in the shop. So stay tuned. Alright, so let's get started. I think we'll go with finished objects first. First, I have my Musselburgh hat that I knit for my husband out of Breaking Bad yarns in her fingering weight base. This is in the colorway Gray Matter. And I knit this as part of the birthday beanie stitch along from the Nitty Bitty Sisters. And I started this a couple weeks ago. I don't remember exactly when, but it just flew. The real trick for me was I had started this out doing it magic loop like I do most of my socks, and then I grabbed a 16-inch circular needle from, actually I bought it from the Crazy Sock Lady, and it made such a difference in how quickly I was able to knit this up. Instead of having to worry about every, half round, switching the needles around for magic loop, I was able to just knit, and for all this stockinette, it went relatively quickly. So the hat itself is actually this big. So you start off at, I don't remember, let's see if I can figure it out. It doesn't really matter, but probably here. You start out in the center here, cast on. I forget there's a few different cast ons that you can use. I don't remember the one that I ended up using, and I think I kind of just like winged it a little bit anyway. But it looks fine. If you look really closely, it's not perfect, but this is probably going to be the inside of the hat, and even if it's on the outside, like nobody's going to notice that it's a little bit wonky. Like, I don't know, it looks fine. So yeah, so you start at one end, and then you do increases until you look at the pattern, and based on your gauge, the pattern will tell you how much you need to increase. And then once you're there, you just miles of stockinette, again until the length that the pattern describes. And then you start decreasing. Easy peasy. So it looks basically the same on both ends. And then you fold the hat in. Fix my focus. No one wants to see a blurry Lauren. So yeah, you fold it in, and then you have this fantastic little double thickness hat. And then you can fold the brim up if you want. Okay, so my husband, this hat is for him, and he loves this hat so much. He's been talking about it because I've usually been knitting on it at night when we're watching TV, and so he's been watching the whole process and has just really been happy with this color. You can see that it's just a little bit of tonal variations in the color. It's really nice, and it fits him great. So yeah, the weather's just starting to get cool enough over here to start wearing hats, so he's looking forward to this. This is, let's see, I knit him, I think like the last couple years I've knit him a hat. So this is the 3rd one that I've done, at least recently, and this one definitely so far is our favorite. So I liked knitting it. and I'm really happy about the fit. I tried it on myself because I actually have my own muscle burra that I did last year, and it's just a really nice, simple but well-fitting hat. So there's that. And on the subject of hats, we might as well talk about the hat I have on here. This is knit out of my own hand spun. I got a spinning wheel a couple weeks back, and I have been practicing. And this roving is from Knit Picks. It's wool of the Andes, actually, and it's really, I don't know much. I'm still brand new at spinning, but it was relatively easy to spin as far as I can tell. It's definitely a little bit woolly. It's not super soft, but if you've ever used wool of the Andes before, it's not a terribly soft yarn, but it's nice enough. And for the price, I think it was really cost effective for learning how to spin with, I believe the roving is, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it was $6.99 for 100 grams, which is not a bad price at all. So what I did was I bought a bunch of different colors and I mixed, I don't remember the names specifically, but there's a purple in here and then like a blue and then a kind of a silvery color. And I just kind of played around with colors and took different bits of it to get them to, they kind of swirled up in the singles, and then I double plied it and I made this yarn. This is what's left from the batch that I made here. And I mean, it's decent. It looks like yarn. It's actually got a little bit of squish to it. It's like the first one that I did, I think I talked about it on my last podcast. Or at least I've definitely posted pictures on Instagram, but the purple one that was the first ever yarn that I made, it was very like variation in thickness, and it was a little bit overspun in spots and underspun in others. And then the second one that I did, the one that was more like Christmas colors, red, green, and like a tan, that one came out all right, but I think I just didn't spin it quite enough, and there was still a lot of variation in the thickness. And then this one, it's getting better. I mean, it's definitely not perfect, but like you can see over here where it got really thin there. But it's got a little bit of character. I realize, hand spun isn't always going to be perfect, although I guess some people get really good at it. But I mean, I've only had this for a little while. But there's a little bit of character to it, and that's really fun. And it was actually relatively pleasant to knit with. So, I mean, I knit this hat in a day. I started it late one night and just kept going and went to bed very late, and then got up the next morning. I was about halfway done. Got up the next morning and finished it up. So I'm super happy. So to knit this hat, I just figured out what the diameter I wanted the hat to be, figured out what my gauge was with the needles that I liked that were giving me the right fabric, and just kind of winged it to make this hat. So it's basically just a knit 2, purl 2 brim for 3 inches, and then up here I did some cabling, and I believe once the hat was about 7 inches tall, I started doing some decreasing. Nothing too major. Like I said, I didn't really follow a specific pattern. I just kind of played around with stuff. And now that I know how to cable without a cable needle, I'm just obsessed with cables. So it's really simple. It's nothing super fancy, but I really like the way it did this like self-striping kind of action going on here. So it fits great. It's perfect. I tend to have trouble with hats. I think I just don't knit them tall enough. And this one, I think I got it just right. Like, it's just enough. It fits over my ears, but it's not, I like them to be kind of fitted up around my head. And so I'm pretty happy with it. It's nice. It's cute. Nice and warm. It's soft enough. It's not, it's wool of the Andes, so it's not crazy soft, but perfectly fine for a hat. And I think it'll be really nice for the cool weather. I'm not usually a big hat wearer, but I don't know, maybe I can become a hat wearer a little bit more. So that was fun. So that's that finished object. And I have one more, my spooky season socks. my Arethusa Falls socks that I've been doing as part of the spooky season stitch along with Allison Clark and Teeny Button Studios. And it's also my Arethusa Falls knit along, which has got a couple more days to get those socks finished. And then I'll be drawing for some prizes. But these are for my daughter Catherine, and I did the size adult small. She's 8 years old, and I find that an adult small 56 stitches works just fine for her. This pattern is also very ribbed, so it stretches quite a bit, and so I think you get quite a bit of leeway in getting these socks to fit really well. But they fit her wonderfully, and she's very excited to get these. I'm glad that I've got this now recorded so I can give them to her and she can wear them for Halloween. So that's them. See, there's some really nice patterning here on the front of the sock, and then some ribbing, which is what gives it the stretch. And then on the back, I actually add a little bit more ribbing as well to really keep these socks very nice and stretchy all around your leg. So they fit. I do really just love this pattern. I'm very, very proud of this pattern. I talk about it all the time because it's I don't know, it's the ultimate fingering weight sock pattern in my mind. At least definitely one that I love a lot because it just fits really well, and it's just pretty enough to give it a little bit of something. So it's a little bit interesting, but it's a very easy pattern to memorize. So love it. It's a four row repeat, and if you can read your knitting at all, you would have no problem doing this particular pattern. So some of the folks that have been knitting this pattern this month, I've seen some different heels put in. I think I've seen either afterthought heels maybe, or short row heels. It's very easy if you know how to adjust your patterns at all. It's really easy to just put whatever heel in here that you like. I prefer the slip stitch heel flap for the most part, but it's a very customizable pattern. I've done this one very long. I've done them shorties, and then these kind of midway ones too. So that's that. So those are all my finished objects. So I guess now we can talk about my works in progress. So in my Midwest Stitches bag, which I spilled a pile of coffee on the other day because I had my travel mug from when I first got up in the morning, but I didn't finish all of the coffee and forgot about that. And then we went to Dunkin' Donuts and I got another cup of coffee. So that one I had finished, and I was holding the empty cup in my hand, and I had the travel mug just kind of shoved in my arm here, and I was holding my bag. And so when I leaned over to take my shoes off, I ended up pouring the coffee directly into my bag, all over the sock that I had started, all over the bag. Everything was soaking wet. So I had to pull everything out and wash it. The sock itself, I started a sock for my 11-year-old. 11-year-old. And I did 64 stitches for her, and they were coming out way too big anyway. And initially I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just decrease down, and it'll be a little more like shaped for her calf. But after I spilled coffee all over it, I'm like, well, I guess I might as well just rip it out and restart it and do the 56 stitches. And I'm glad that I did. It was a 50, I always get 58 stitches, 64, 60, no, 56 stitches. Anyway, so in the end, I've got a better fitting sock now, so it's fine. And I washed everything washed just fine. The bag survived. Love this bag. I've shown it before. It's got my homemade, there we go. My homemade pin from Allison Clark of Stitchery & Co. And then on the inside here, I forgot to mention this because this is really cool, but she's got a nice little clip here so you can put your markers. So right now I've got this little ghost on here. I don't know why I haven't put him on my sock actually, but he's still with me. And then I've got another little light bulb marker there and all my goodies. So I am nearly done these socks. Go. one here, and then I've got the other one here. I just started the toe. This is in a needle keeper from Midwest Stitches. Cute little jack-o'-lanterns. So you can see I just started the toe here. And this is Knit Picks Felici, and I don't remember the name of the colorway. I'll look it up and put it down below. In the great coffee spilling of 2021, that tag got completely soaked and thrown away, and I didn't write down what the name was, so it's gorgeous. I love these colors. It looks like a sunset. Maybe even like get it this way. It's so pretty. So these are gonna match, which is great. I haven't put the heels in yet. I'm gonna do an afterthought heel, so I'll cut those in. And the contrasting color that I'm doing for the heels, toes, and cuffs here is Mandy's Makings. It was part of a mini set that she had. I believe it was it was over March, so it was Lucky Charms? Maybe the set was called. I don't remember what the individual like mini was, but it's got some really fun little multicolors, and it's got the orange and purple that were in here, so really cute. My daughter, this is for her for Christmas, and I have had her try it on to make sure that I was going to get the heel placement correctly, because their feet are growing, and even though I have notes from some of the last socks that I made them, their feet have grown, and I don't always remember or know how to adjust to make sure that it's going to fit well. So I did have her try them on, and then told her she had to forget that she saw them, so that way she would still be surprised on Christmas. So these will probably be done depending on when I get to them. This will be done in no time. Takes me about 45 minutes to do a toe, I think, somewhere around there. And so the afterthought heel takes about that long. It's the same thing. The heel, the whatever method you do for the toe, you can do for the heel. So I don't do afterthought heels a ton, but for self-striping, I really like them. And initially I wasn't sure if I really liked the fit of them, but as long as I get the heel placement correctly, like I think the socks that I've had where I felt like they didn't fit very well, I think I put the heel in a little too, they didn't make the foot long enough. But if I definitely have enough, then they actually fit pretty well, which isn't, I have a really high instep, and afterthought heels don't always fit high insteps really well, but it seems to be working okay. And my daughter, she's got really narrow feet, so I think that they're gonna fit. I think it'll fit her just fine. So that is that. Put this back on the needle minder so I don't have another disaster, because I don't need that. It's amazing how quickly vanilla socks knit up too. Like I started these last night, and I've just had a lot of knitting time, and I am just getting right through it. So that's that. And I've got another pair of socks here. I don't know if I have actually really gotten any distance on here. These are the other Knit Picks Felici socks for my son that I'm doing on 9-inch circulars with the twisting rib. I don't think I've really done a whole ton. I have a little marker here. This may have been, no, I don't, this is probably marking numbers. No, I think maybe this is where I was last time. I haven't done much. I know that I had started the second sock, but I hadn't gone far, and clearly I haven't gone very far here. So, well, I'll get these eventually. I have until Christmas. My goal is to make all of my kids and my husband a pair of socks for Christmas. Well, I say all of the kids. I'm not going to make the baby a pair because she's just going to outgrow them really quickly. And my 2-year-old, I may or may not make her socks, because again, I think she's going to just outgrow them. So I might take the Felici yarn that I have picked out for her and just maybe she'll make her a hat. Maybe I could do a little baby muscle burr hat. That would be kind of cute. The self-striping. Yeah. So anyway, I've got this, my son's Felici's socks moved into this bag that I got from, let me look up the tag here, Stitching Plaza. I got this from Crazy Sock Lady Co. She had a few of these bags in her shop, and I thought I would get some Christmas socks, or a bag for my Christmas socks. So this is really cute. There's a little bit of thread there and some hair. But look at the little Christmas socks. They're super cute. Get the candy canes, like the Fair Isle socks with like gingerbread men, Christmas trees, and some polka dots on the inside. It's a really simple bag. It's perfect. Nothing too exciting to talk about in there, but it's a nice little bag, and it's a drawstring, which I'm really enjoying drawstring bags. I still like zippers, but I really like the drawstrings too. And I like these ones that are like really tall, because then I can kind of fold them over and make it a little bit more of a bucket, and I can see into there. And I don't know, it just seems to be working really well. So now I can take my tag off. It's cute. She's got like the little Kitchener stitch description here on the back of the card. Georgian Plaza. So really nice. So that's fun. And then my last work in progress is my shawl that I'm working on here. And this is, talked about this last week. This is Ba Yarns La Jolla. That's how we pronounce this, La Jolla. And it's a 100% superwash merino wool. And I have an in Call of the Wild, which is the speckly color. And this one's November 18, I think, the brown. So pretty. And this is Casapinka's pattern. It's the Faith and Hope, Dream and Hope. Oh dear, I can't remember. I'll look it up. But it's by Casapinka, and it's really fun. It's got a really simple but like unique kind of a garter pattern, but it's a little different from just plain old garter, and it's giving this kind of neat like twisting going on. And then over here is a little bit of slip stitch color work, which has been fun. And then this section's a little bit different from the section down here. So I got a lot of work done on this last week, and then I haven't really picked it up a whole lot because I've been kind of working on socks and hats lately. I really wanted to get that Musselburgh hat for my husband done so I could get it finished for the knit-alongs. And then this I was just excited to do. So I haven't gotten a whole lot of work on this quite yet, but I think in my last podcast, I don't think I had even cast this on yet. So yeah, it's coming right along. I forgot how many sections there are. I'm on the third section now. I want to say there's like 5 or 6. I don't know, maybe a little bit more. But it's going really well. It's a nice knit. The yarn is gorgeous. Very much enjoying it. And I have this in just a simple Knit Picks project bag. The little one with the kitties on it. I love it so much. Look at that one peeking out of the yarn. Oh, so cute. All right, so that is my knitting. I grabbed, yes, when I bought this bag from the Crazy Sock Lady, I also got a few of her snips that she's been talking about. I also have I have another 2 pink ones. I got one pink one a couple months ago from her, and then she just recently updated. I think she sold out again though. But I grabbed another set. I got all 3 colors again, and both of my pink ones are in various bags. Actually, mine might be in here. Yep, here's the pink one. These snips are so cool. See, there's like a little rubber stretchy attached to the handle, and these super sharp snips here. And then you just put the little rubber thing back on so it stays nice and safe, which is a lot easier to do when you're not looking at yourself in a camera. So it's safe. Cute. So like I said, I've got a bunch of them, so that way I just have them in my project bags when I need them. I also got these snips from Amazon a couple weeks ago, and I think they came in a set of 3. There's a yellow one, a blue one, and a pink one. So I've got the yellow one here, and I'm sure you've seen these before, but they're like the cranes. I have a few of these, but I needed a couple more because I've kind of acquired a bit of project bags. Like, I didn't have very many project bags before, and I've been kind of really enjoying them. Danielle from Midwest Stitches is making really cool bags, and I have 2 of hers so far. I ordered one from Stolen Minutes, which just shipped today, so that one's coming in a couple of days. So I've got all of these project bags, and now I need snips to put in all of them. So I love these. They're cute. I don't know, they're just they're sharp, they're nice. At least it came with this little like faux, must be faux leather, little cover to keep it from poking at anybody. So yeah, I really like these. I'll link them down in my box if you're interested in them. And then I grabbed some stuff from Knit Picks. Yeah, when I ordered the roving, sun's coming, let me move over a little bit. When I ordered the roving, I also got some little doohickeys from Knit Picks. So I got these darning needles, and they came in these really nice little cases. These are the ones that I prefer, the orange ones, or the ones that come in you see they're a lot bigger. The ones in this purple case are really small, and I should have read the description better. Woo. Actually, I don't even know if this one came with it, but this is just like a sewing needle here. I've got, it's just a sewing needle. It's tiny. I don't know very much about needles. I mean, it's not super sharp here, so I don't know, maybe it's an embroidery needle. And then these, again, they're really small. I mean, I think you could still use them for fingering weight yarn, but really I think the ones here in the orange one are probably better. So I don't know, what I might do is just take the needles out and put them in with my sewing notions, and then I love this case, so I might just use it. And when I have a ton of darning needles that I bought, and I can't find them. They're gone. I don't know where they went. I have the case for them, which is not as nice as this. It's just like a cheap plastic case. But I don't know where any of the needles are. And I mean, I know I've taken a few out because I have darning needles in my project bags, and I have them in my pocketbook. I have them in my diaper bag. Like, I've got darning needles everywhere, but I feel like I have more. I mean, the other thing is I've got 2 girls that knit, and I think that they tend to they collect my stuff too, and they don't always put it back. Because like every time I go into I have tons of sock needles at this point, so those I can find pretty easily. But whenever I need to get a larger size, I only have 2 sets of interchangeable needles, and invariably one of the kids has either my needles or I've used up all of my really long cords for my interchangeable needles. So like when I finish this hat, right? So I did this on 16-inch needles. And then you're supposed to move to double pointed needles when you get to the small part of the crown, right? Because you can't fit it over the 16 inches anymore. Well, I don't have double pointed needles in size 7 because I don't knit hats often enough. I haven't accumulated any of those. So I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'll just put them on a bigger cord, and then I'll be able to just magic loop it. Couldn't find any. All of my cords were like the little short ones. So I don't know. I think they don't cost much. I just need to get a few more on Knit Picks, or maybe I was thinking for Christmas, maybe my girls might like their own set of interchangeable needles, and they won't have to borrow mine anymore. So anyway, I get these cute little cases. These are Clover. Everything Clover makes is really good. I've never been disappointed. And then I got this yarn stranding guide for color work. So what you do is you put it on your finger. Actually, I put it on my left finger because I knit continental. And you can put the strands of yarn in here, and then that way when you're picking to do color work, it's all right, like kept organized. They don't flip over and turn around, I guess. I'm still a brand new color work knitter, so I think it looks like it'll work. It's comfortable to wear. It was really inexpensive. It was just a couple of dollars. But I figured, hey, worth a shot. So I grabbed a couple of them, knowing that if I liked it, my daughter will probably want one, or I'll lose one, or I'll need them in multiple project bags. And they did, like I said, they didn't cost much at all. So I'm excited to get to try these. I need to do more color work. So I don't have the socks with me right now, but I will insert a picture now. This is my newest pattern that is coming out, like I said, in probably another week or so. See my husband down there with his tractor. Sorry if the noise is really noisy. But, so yeah, this is my Intraveil socks, and this is written for DK weight yarn, and I am using my own colorways for the sample here, part of my Christmas collection that I'll talk about in another minute. But so I'm really excited to get this pattern out. It's got some very simple color work up at the top and on the foot, and then some simple knits and purl stitches to give it a little bit of texture down the front of the sock. So it's really cute. I think it reminds me of like gingerbread houses, or like those Swiss houses in Switzerland. So really excited about that. You can it's designed for, like I said, DK weight, and then with a little bit of contrasting colors would make it really nice. So that is that. They're going well. The pattern testers are enjoying it, so I'm happy. And I just have to quickly edit a couple of things on the pattern that we realized I had made mistakes on. That's why we double check these things, and I'll have that released very, very soon. So now we can talk about some of the yarn in my shop. So I did a Christmas story collection this year for Christmas, and all of my colorways are inspired by that movie. So let's get started. This is Major Award. It's the main color here, and the mini that comes with it is A Whiff of Ozone. So this is from that scene with the lamp. And this is a just a speckly tonal kind of main color here, like forest green. And then the mini here has a little bit of that forest green as well as some red, and it's on like a kind of a golden yellow base. It's mainly reddish though. So I really like this. I think I'm going to be saving one of these for me to do a pair of socks with, because I don't have a whole lot of tonal yarn, or yeah, like more solid. I don't really like solids. I like a little bit of variation, and I've been trying to kind of step out of my comfort zone, because usually I gravitate towards crazy colors and all sorts of different things. So I really wanted to try some more solids, so that way I could knit up socks that have some real nice textures or cables in them and really have those pop. So that's my plan with this one. I think I'd like to do a cabled sock. I'm looking at a couple of patterns that look interesting, and then I'm also kind of maybe toying with the idea of trying to design a sock, but we'll see, because that always takes all that extra work. Like if you buy a pattern that somebody else has already gone through all the work and done all the math and all the thinking and the realizing what works better and tweaking and this and that, then it makes for a much faster pair of socks. But when I design a pair, then it's really fun and creative, and I enjoy it, but it also takes a little bit more time. So I'm gonna see where I am when I'm ready to cast these on and how my brain is feeling. Do I need a break, or do I feel creative? So I'm thinking about it. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, comment down below and let me know what you think I should do with this yarn. So that's this one. I have another kind of semi-solid sock set here. This is Triple Dog Dare with Schwartz. And so this is a really fun variations in colors here, some reds and cranberries. And then the mini here is actually very similar to this color. It's just a little lighter, so you get a little bit more of like this light green that pokes through. And then there's actually some two different color greens in here. And if you look really closely, you can see the more like forest green, and then a little bit more of a kind of like a pea green, avocado green in there. So this one's super Christmassy though, huh? So fun. Another sock set here. This is actually, let's see, this is You'll Shoot Your Eye Out for the main color, and then the contrast is A+++++. That's 4 pluses. You gotta make sure you get the right number of pluses, otherwise we'll be confused, right? So, you got a leaf? Do you want to show everybody your leaf? No? Okay. Did you get a leaf? Yeah. It's my Thomas. My only boy. Alright, I'm gonna record now, okay? So this is another like fun speckly tonal, kind of like the major award, but this is done in this really pretty wine purple. Don't you like it, bud? Isn't that a pretty color? Yeah. And then it comes with this really rich mini here, which is another really deep purple. It's the same color, but just really, really deep. Love this set so much. Oh, can you imagine socks in this? So pretty. And let me find another one of the tonal colorways. This is the last of the ones that are really tonal in the 100 grams with the 20 gram mini. And this one is the Scott Farkas Affair with its little toady Grover Dill. So if you like green, this one is for you. So this mini has the same greens that are making up this really pretty main color. And it's also got a little bit of red in it here and there to give it that Christmassy feel. And tuck that back in there. So the Scott Farkas Affair and Grover Dill. He had yellow eyes, Thomas. Yellow eyes. Yellow eyes. And then this is the last of my 100 gram main colors with the 20 gram mini, and this one is 1940s Christmas with the mini When Our Joy is at its Zenith. So this would make a really nice self-striping, or like mini micro striping, because with this kind of yarn, I have one half is mainly red and the other half is mainly green, and when you knit this up in a pair of socks, it kind of micro stripes. So pretty. If you've been watching the Breaking Yarn podcast, the socks that were on my the berry picking colorway, if you look at those, they micro stripe. This will do something very similar to that. So that's 1940s Christmas. Really fun. And then I've got a couple of these duo sets. So these are two 50 gram skeins, so they're the same size. And then we'll see, this one is Little Orphan Annie with, signed Little Orphan Annie, countersigned Pierre Andre. So this is that purple color that we saw in one of the other sets, but a little more tonal variation to it, and some speckles. Get that forest green again in here. I love these the yarns with this purple. I love it so much. Oh, so these so pretty in like a striped sock, or I think like the Rainbow Connection pattern from the Crazy Sock Lady. This would be excellent for that. So fun. And then I also have Soap Connoisseur and Lifebuoy. And so this is another speckly yarn here with some red and green and brown on this like really nice creamy color base, and then with a bright red tonal mini, 50 gram mini. So, oh, love it. Super cool. Get some of the greens down here. You can see a little bit better. So you see there's two different kinds of green. I've got that forest green again, and then that like, I don't know, like grassy green kind of color. Oh, so pretty. So, so pretty. And then this is the DK weight sock set. This was the one that I used for the Intervale socks. And so this is Glorious Christmas. This is Ralphie, and this is Randy. So this has some speckling in it, some greens and reds. Very, very pretty. Good for color work. And then another DK set if this kind of Christmassy gingerbread color isn't your thing. I also did another DK set in these blues and purples. And so this one is called Blue Steel Beauty. And let's see, this is Adios Bart, and this is Peacemaker. Super fun. I really like this one. Like, look at how the colors from these teals into purple, and then some really deep purpley reds. Oh, look at this gray, like it's like steel blue color. It's so pretty. Love this. This I think would be really fun to do in that Intervale socks pattern too. That's what I'm thinking. So that's that one. And then lastly, this is one of the sock blanks that I dyed up. I am calling these my Pink Nightmare collection. I was really trying to come up, because I mean the pink nightmare deranged Easter bunny scene from that movie is really iconic, and I'm like, oh, do I want to do like a pink just a pink colorway, or do I want to do something kind of fun? I had these sock blanks that I hadn't played with yet, and ended up just doing some really fun like bright colors with a contrasting mini. So for this one, I don't remember which number this is in the shop. It's either 1 or 2. I think this one's number 2, but double check. So this has these really fun colors, and I thought, you know, it really looks like a Pink Nightmare or a deranged Easter bunny. And then this beautiful teal for this particular mini. So I have 2 in the shop right now, and then there's one more that I have to fix up. So this is the first time I've dyed a sock blank, and on the edge they just kind of come apart, and I don't know if it was me, the way that I dyed, if I just kind of moved the yarn around too much, or if there was something, if I needed to do something, I don't know. So what I ended up doing was I went through and cleaned up all those edges. So I picked up all of the stitches that had kind of been dropped, and it took so long. I want to say one of them took me like 45 minutes to do. So when you get yours, they are nice and cleaned on the edges. I fixed up the edges so now they will not come apart. And I have a little stitch marker on the side that you need to start from, and then you take the stitch marker off and you'll be able to pull, all of the strands. You see, this is a double stranded sock blank, so you can knit 2 at a time. You can either knit 2 at a time like on a really big magic loop, or the way I prefer doing 2 at a time is having 2 sets of needles going, because I find it's too fussy to have 2 pairs of socks on one big circular. Some people love it, and if you love it, that's awesome. I like, if I'm going to do a 2 at a time sock, I like to have 2 sets of needles going. So just my regular 24 or 32 inch circular needles to do magic loop, or double pointed needles, or 9-inch circulars, whatever you want to do. So yeah, these are all nice and cleaned up now. And I have one more that I just need to take the time to do. I cleaned up 3 of them. I have one more that I need to finish, and then I might be saving one of them for myself. I haven't fully decided yet. So there may be another 1 or 2 in the shop sometime soon, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, there's another couple in there. These are gonna end up so fun. So the cool thing too about the 2 at a time socks, it's not just that you're gonna get 2 socks as you're knitting, but also they're gonna match, because the sock blanks, sometimes the socks that you get are just very wildly different, and not everybody likes their socks to be or doesn't mind if their socks don't match. It depends. Sometimes I'm bothered by it not matching, and sometimes I'm not bothered. But I kind of like the idea of having my socks match a little bit better. So when you knit these, they should really match up very, very well, because it's double knit. So that's that, and that's basically the tour of the shop right now. I do have a few other things that have been in there that are highly discounted right now, because they've been in the shop for the last couple months, and I'm just trying to clear them out to make way for all of the other things that are coming. And then I have a bunch of one-of-a-kind experimental kind of sets that I had worked on, so they're in there too, as well as all of these different Christmas colors. So if you want to take a look, I would love it. I'd really appreciate it. Maybe pick up one of the patterns that are in there. Like I said, I've got my Arethusa Falls pattern in there right now, and then the Intervale socks will be up very, very soon. So follow me on Instagram if you are interested in knowing exactly when that stuff goes up. And otherwise, that is pretty much all I have to talk about today. I did get a notice from Hypnotic Yarns that my Yarnable subscription shipped today. I don't know if it actually went in the mail today, or if they got the shipping label. They usually go out the same day, I think. So I will probably have that very, very soon. So look for a Yarnable unboxing in the next few days. And yeah, I think, I did a couple of vlogs earlier this month, and I really did enjoy them. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with my podcasts here. I definitely like doing this, sit down and let's talk about what I'm in the middle of, and you can see the progress that I'm making. But then I also really enjoy doing the vlogs here and there. I think those are kind of fun. So I'm hoping to get involved in Vlogmas this December. We shall see. I kind of feel like I don't know if my life is that exciting to do Vlogmas every day, because it's like, we're just a homeschooling family, and our days are, they're interesting for us, but I don't know what kind of content I can really put in there. But I don't know, maybe we'll come up with something. We'll see. I'm thinking about it anyway. So that would be going down a little bit down the road. But thinking ahead anyway. But maybe trying to do a little bit more of the vloggy style stuff here and there, just because these are kind of fun and they're kind of relaxing. I like the music on them, and watching as we go on our little adventures here and there. So anyway, I think, let's see, chit chat about what's been going on in our lives. Well, it's fall, the weather's getting cooler. My husband got his new tractor the other day, so he has been working on some more site work in our backyard. He's actually putting in a new swing set for the kids. We have one swing set that we got years ago when we first moved here, when we had, how many kids did we have when we moved here? 3 kids, right? Abby, Julie, Katie. Yeah, we had 3 kids when we moved here. And so we have a swing set that has like 1 slide and 2 swings. Well, technically right now it's got 3 swings. There's a baby swing on it and 2 like regular swings. Or there'll be a trapeze on there. But it's pretty small for them at this point. And so my husband bought all the hardware to build a new bigger swing set and we're going to move it farther back in our property. And so he got this tractor for multiple reasons. We have quite a bit of land back there, so he's kind of, he does his trains back there, and has to do a lot of site work back there. And while we've hired people before in the past, he really wants to be able to do some of it on his own now. So he's got this really cool tractor and he's working hard out there right now, cleaning up the property. So anyway, we're working on that swing set, and he got the site work all set up for that. It's just been hard to find wood at a reasonable price right now. So initially he wanted to get cedar, and the cedar's just outrageously expensive for what we're going to need. So I think he was saying that he was going to look at getting fir. I think that's what it was, which won't be quite as rot resistant, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper. So even if it does rot, we could always take the hardware off and replace it again in the future. Or who knows, maybe it'll be totally fine. I don't know. It's a swing set, whatever. It'll be fun as long as it's safe. And I know it will be, because he is a very good dad, and he is very careful and knowledgeable in how to make these things safe. So, and it's outside of my no zone. I don't know. I just trust him. He's got it. So that's basically it. Sun's starting to go down. It's only, my goodness, it's only 3:39. It's still so early, and it's already getting kind of dark. I love fall, but winter, it's cold. But you know what? It's all right, because I've got all of these crafty things to do. That's something I need to talk about. So one dream that I have had for a long time has been I've done a little bit of quilting, but I really have wanted for years to hand sew a quilt. And I have always looked at like the hexagon quilts, and I really liked them, and thought, well, that'd be fun to do. Like I have some patterns. My mother-in-law is a very accomplished quilter, and she's given me some of her books and things that she doesn't need anymore. And I have some patterns to do these hexagon quilts, and I didn't really look too much into them, because I'm really not a big, huge sewist. I don't love working on a sewing machine. It's all right. I do sew here and there, but it's not, I don't like it the way I really enjoy knitting. But I finally started like looking into this stuff, because I have a friend who sent some quilting supplies to my girls a couple weeks ago. And kind of when I saw that she sent a couple jelly rolls, and they just looked really fun. So I started like looking into jelly rolls and how to use them, and one thing led to another, and I found this English paper piecing quilt, which is the hexagon quilt that I have been looking at all these years. And wouldn't you know, English paper piecing is all about hand sewing. So it was like, duh, after all this time, the two things that I loved the idea of, hexagon, like a scrappy hexagon quilt, and a hand sewn quilt, comes together in this English paper piecing. So I kind of went a little crazy, and I bought a couple of jelly rolls and some new needles and the little paper that the hexagon paper that you need to stitch these together. And I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos last night, and I am all excited to do this quilt project. So it might be getting dark outside, but now I have all of this time to be in the house by candlelight, not by candlelight, by, I don't know, electric light to work on this quilt project, which will probably take me forever. But, well, because I have all the time in the world. Like, I don't have 7 kids that are needing me, and homeschooling, and dyeing yarn, and knitting, and, well, we'll just throw a quilt on there too. Why not? But you know what? It's good, because I've been talking to my husband a lot about this, that these crafty things that we do, the building that he does out back for his trains and for the yard, and the crocheting, the knitting, the sewing, these things like slow us down, and they make us work with our hands, and we do things, and we create things, and we experiment, and we keep our minds sharp and interested in things. And you know, there's only so much time that we have on the earth, and what are we going to do? And you know, yeah, like anybody else, I scroll through Instagram, or I'm sitting on the internet watching YouTube videos or whatever, or watching TV. But most of the time, I really try to be doing something constructive, whether it be knitting or at least spending time with my family or something. And these crafts that we have that allow us to, plunk down and relax and still, watch TV or listen to an audiobook or chat, whatever, but we can still create something at the same time. And it just, how are you going to spend your limited amount of time? And we all have our things. Some people are into creating and crafting. Some people are into reading, whatever. I think it's important to make use of your time and not just completely veg out. There's a time and a place for that, and sometimes you do just need to sit and not do anything and just watch the television or read a book or listen to music or whatever. That's okay. But I just feel so much better. It's calming. It makes me happy. I feel like I'm doing something. It's just brought me so much joy, the crafting. I'm so happy for it. I know that you all, because I assume if you're watching my podcast that you're a knitter or a crocheter or a sewer. Sewist. Yeah, because sewer sounds like sewer, so we say sewist. Anyway, but I know that you must be into that stuff if you're watching this, and I know that this has got to be resonating. That this is why we do it, right? So anyway, that's me waxing poetic for a little while. I am running out of battery on my phone, so I think that's enough for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to be back very soon. Like I said, I've got plans here, but thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.